Let's take a quick look at all the different stuff coming in Phase 4. So if you haven't heard, May 1st, coming up very shortly from me releasing this video, Zul'Gurub. It's our next raid. I consider this the catch-up gear raid. And we're also going to get another buff to add to our boon system. The buff gives you a little bit of movement speed and increases all stats by 15%. So it is a very nice buff overall. So this buff is very nice and helps greatly if you were actually leveling, for the fact that that extra move speed is huge to be able to get from quest hub to quest hub. But Zul'Gurub, here it is. It's a 20-man raid. Let's dive into what you can get. So a big part of what you're going to be focusing on is the reputation. Now you're going to organically get it, roughly about 3,000 rep per full clear, but you're going to get different type of bijous, and essentially the bijous you turn in, they're 75 rep, and then you get a coin that's another 50 rep. So one bijou basically gets you 125 rep. It takes 336 bijous to go from neutral to exalted. Now obviously, like I said, you're going to need a lot less bijous because you're going to do a couple rep runs. Now the one nice thing with ZG is it's on a 3-day timer instead of the normal 7-day timer. So you're going to be able to run this at least twice a week and upwards to almost 3 depending on how it sequences out. So you get to run this a lot more. Now, some of the big sought after items. This is the items that you're going to see that is just hard reserved pretty much every time. It's going to be the Raptor and the Tiger. They're going to give you a super fast mount, an epic mount, 1% drop chance essentially across the board for those items, but those are the iconic mounts that everybody is after. So unfortunately, those probably will be hard reserved for the foreseeable future, which is annoying. Mages are going to get the Tome of Polymorph, which makes a turtle when instead of a sheep when they polymorph something. So that's a cool little thing. And then there will be another bag, just like Anixia has an 18 slot bag, here has an 18 slot bag. So that alone will be a reason why a lot of people will come. Now I imagine later, couple 3 weeks, 4 weeks in, people will stop hard reserving because they might have a harder time building groups. So they'll let the mounts actually be rolled on, at least if it drops, to give a reason why people will actually keep going. They'll go for the mounts in the 18 slot bag regardless, several months from now, that they still will be hunting these. So why is the rep so important? Let's talk about all the different things that you can get with the rep. So come ZG, now there's going to be new mojos and different things that you can enchant your shoulders and your legs. So as you see, there are some big shoulder buffs. These are huge, pretty much for every single class. These are the shoulder ones, and then here is the other ones, which is going to be for head and leg slot. There's some really big ones in here, and most of these though you're going to need to be exalted to actually get. So you might not be able to get it right away. I mean, I'm sure some people will buy the bijous because they are tradable. They'll pay maximum price and they will just rush their way to exalted. I don't really plan on doing that because it will be crazy expensive overall. But there's tons and tons of new enchants coming into the game, and I am super excited to get my hands on the rogue ones. So for my rogue, 28 attack power, 1% dodge in the legs and head. Yes, please. Now, also, with getting the reputation is what you will need to be able to start crafting the Bloodvine set. Now this is a tradable set, so even if you aren't exalted is what you need to, I believe, make the chest. Someone in your guild, maybe the guild bank essentially, will buy the bijous to max out one person so this person can then craft for everybody. That's an option. You are going to see Mooncloth, Fellcloth, Powerful Mojo, and Iron Web Spider Silk. Those items are going to go up in price a little bit in the very beginning because that's what's needed to make the Bloodvine set. Now also do keep in mind that set bonus where you get the extra 2% crit, that is only if you are 300 tailoring. So you are going to see a lot of people min-max and drop their profession and level up tailoring. So any of those supplies will also be very good to invest in, as everybody's going to want that extra 2% crit. But overall, the Bloodvine set is massive. You're going to see a ton of classes go for this, and a great entry level to just be able to make and go with it. Another big item that's coming out of the Reputation is the Living Action Potion. This potion is huge. So to be able to be immune to stun and movement and parrying effects, and you can use it while you are stunned. This is great for PvP and PvE interactions for raids. This you will see ice caps and Heart of the Wild spike in price, as we haven't really used much of the Heart of the Wild, so you will see that spike up, like I said, also with the ice caps. Good thing I bought about 1,000 ice caps. I'm ready for this moment. Your tryhards are going to use this in PvP to break out of, say, a rogue stun to be able to continue to do damage. At least that's what I would be doing. With ZG, it opens up some new mage gold farms. This is going to be the new bread and butter for the mages. They're able to boost people, but the big thing, because they're getting all the bijous and all of the different things of that, this is why they're going to come here. So here's some of the different content creators that did make some videos out there, so be sure to check them out. But lots of XP, big pulls. You're going to see this is the new thing. So light feathers is what the mages will need to be able to slow fall from one area to another. So you will see a little up spike in those as well as an item to invest in. With Phase 4 also brings the 4 new world bosses. So the 4 world bosses are going to spawn in multiple different locations, and with having different layers, it's finally going to give you a chance to be able to get some of that juicy loot that they have. I do highly recommend to get a nature resistance set along with protection nature potion, the greater one, because these ones do a lot of nature damage. They are tougher depending on which one you are going at, and everybody will be going for these, but that will make it up to 6 different world bosses we can get our hands on, which is just amazing for extra loot. Also with ZG, you're going to see the fishing Extravaganza. So the big rewards that you will be getting from this is you get the Master Angler, which allows you to essentially turn into a fish, and only while you're in water. And you're going to have underwater breathing and increase your actual swim speed, which is awesome. You're going to get a fishing pole that gives you plus 14 skill, but you do have to be 200 fishing to participate. So make sure you level up your fishing now before the event starts. So last but not least, the 0.5 set gear for all of the classes. Last time around, I believe it didn't release until Phase 5. This time, Phase 4. It does cost a good bit, depending on which set you're going after and how many pieces you need to be able to do it. Plus, the quest line is very, very long. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but for some classes, it's not bad. It kind of bridges the gap between the MC and the BWL gear. Most of the builds itself, you don't want the 6 or 8 set. You're realistically, for the most part, just going to go with maybe, if anything, the 4 set to gain some of the bonus. So here's all of the different class ones. Pause the video, check it out, and let's take a look at the next one. My big one that I am after, obviously being a rogue, is the Dark Mantle set. This is huge. Instead of using the Shadowcraft set, which requires 6 pieces to get the restored energy, it's only the 4 piece. So now I can mix this with the 3 set out of BWL, my tier 2 set, to be able to get both worlds, which is amazing. And the boots actually increase my stealth overall. So as a rogue, this is amazing for me. They probably have one of the best 0.5 sets in the game, like I said, but there are some other decent ones overall that are not terrible. I mean, look at the Shaman here, the 4-piece. Wild chance on casting that you could increase your damage and healing by 95 for 10 seconds. Not terrible. So if you're struggling to get gear out of BWL and MC, This would be a great way, a very easy way for the most part. I mean, it does take time, but it's not gated behind having to battle everybody else in a raid and hope it drops. But hopefully all this was helpful. Please let me know below if there was anything that I missed that is really critical to the Phase 4 overall. Love to hear the feedback, and until next time, guys, game on.